everyone, and welcome to a Stack News special with me, Charlie Mander. Scientists across the world are desperately searching for a cure to the coronavirus. Many of us are putting our hope in the moment when a vaccination is created or the lockdown is lifted. But what if the hope we're so desperately looking for is right under our nose? Today across the world, millions of Christians are celebrating Easter. For many of us, it's a time for extra chocolate, time off work or school, and a chance to enjoy cute pictures of bunnies, like this. But what is Easter really all about? And does it give us any hope in a time like this? In a special extended report for Stack, we have sent our roving reporter, Mr. George D., to investigate the Easter celebration.
At the moment, churches across the land are closed for the foreseeable future. For the first time in over 800 years, churches will not be gathering together to celebrate Easter Sunday. Today I've been granted special access to the St Andrew's Church building. Normally on Easter Sunday morning this place would be a buzz of activity, of songs, of joy, of Easter egg hunts, of celebrating. But St Andrew's wasn't the first church to celebrate Easter. For over 2,000 years, Christians have celebrated two important days at this time of year, Good Friday and Easter Sunday. And I'm here to find out why.
To find out a bit more about Easter, we need to know a bit more about this. This is a Bible, and Christians believe it is how God speaks to us today. One book of the Bible is called Mark, but it wasn't a book about Mark. It was a book about a man called Jesus. Mark tells us all about Jesus' life. Mark was a little bit like me, a journalist who went around interviewing people, talking to them, people who saw Jesus with their own eyes and heard him speak. And then Mark wrote down all that they saw and heard.
The things that Mark tells us about what Jesus did are astonishing. Jesus healed the sick just by touching them. He fed 5,000 people with just a few bread and fish. He calmed the storm just by speaking. He made the blind see and the lame walk. But Mark wants us to know that Jesus wasn't just a miracle worker. He wants us to know that Jesus is God's Son and Jesus is God's King who came to rescue people. At the moment, we are desperate for a rescue from the coronavirus. But in Mark, Jesus says there's something even more serious that we all need rescuing from. Sin. Sin is our rejection of God as the rightful ruler of the world and the rightful ruler of us. And because of our sin, we're told in the Bible that we all will face God's punishment for rejecting him. But Mark tells us that when Jesus died on the cross on the first Good Friday, he took God's punishment in our place. That's why it's called Good Friday and not Bad Friday or Sad Friday. This is the rescue that we all need.
Now, usually, when people write about someone else's life, their death is the last chapter. But in Mark's book about Jesus' life, there's another chapter. And in this chapter, we meet three women who head to Jesus' tomb early on the Sunday morning. They want to put spices on Jesus' body so that it didn't smell so bad. And as they were walking towards the tomb, they were asking questions like, how are we going to move the stone? And how are we going to get into the tomb? See, the stone that covered the entrance to Jesus' tomb wasn't a little stone like this that we might get stuck in our shoe or we might throw into a lake. Mark tells us that the stone that covered Jesus' tomb was very large. It was more like the size of this doorway.
Well, as the women were walking along, maybe they were wondering, who of us has got the biggest muscles? Who can really push that stone away? Or if we all push together, maybe we can move it. Well, as they were thinking and talking, one of them looks up and then taps the other two on the shoulder. Girls, look! They see that the stone had already been rolled away. As the women enter the tomb, they were expecting to see Jesus' dead body. But instead, they walk in and see a young man dressed in a white robe, an angel. And the angel speaks to the women, and he tells them two amazing things. Firstly, he said, "You are looking for Jesus the Nazarene, who was crucified. He has risen. He is not here. See the place where they laid him." And secondly, the angel says, "But go, tell his disciples and Peter, he is going ahead of you into Galilee. There you will see him, just as he told you." Wow! Jesus is risen from the dead, and they will see him again. Incredible events. But confusing too. So the women run away, trembling, bewildered, terrified. And you can understand their reaction, can't you? This is no ordinary Sunday morning. They thought they would see a stone and a body, but the stone had gone, and even more amazingly, so had the body. They were told Jesus is alive, and they will see him again.
These are the facts as Mark records them. This is what people saw and heard. We can trust their evidence. But it still leaves us with some important questions to answer. What does Jesus rising from the dead mean? Why do Christians still celebrate today? And does this give us any hope for today? I'm George D, and this has been a special news report for Stack News.
Thank you, George. After this short musical break, we will hear from our medical correspondent and religious affairs editor, who will seek to answer the questions raised in George's report. Back with you again shortly.